Welcome back to another Stage Lighting Podcast. Today we'll be talking about different lighting fixtures. I will be talking about different lighting fixtures and their uses in the 3-key lighting system. Let's get into it. Now, to get this out of the way, there is some conventional lighting like source 4s or like PARs that can be used in a lot of different instances, such as you can use source 4s as front light, backlight, side light, hair light, or even special effects. There is a lot of intelligent lighting that has been rehoused into conventional systems, such as the ADJ's Z120s that has an LED, but they actually look like PARs. For my preference, I really like the Z120s because of their look and their output. Their output really has this conventional quality to it that you can't really find in a lot of other lighting fixtures. It has the conventional quality, but the usefulness of an LED. So they can color change and color mix as a PAR, but they actually look like a conventional source 4 or a PAR. These lights have an adjustable zoom that you can focus manually, which is great for side lighting or even front lighting if you want to have that flexibility of a color changing light and the quality of a conventional PAR from now or source 4. Really, the only downside of this light is the price. At a steep almost $650, I think you can find a better light for a more budget-friendly setup. One of my favorites that isn't in the eye of most lighting designers is actually a company called Sheds, SHEHDS. I really like this knockoff company because even though that the quality may not be as good, they do make very budget-friendly advanced lighting systems that can be a great option for a beginner or intermediate lighting designer. I personally have worked very closely with this company on many of my projects, specifically their wash zoom fixture, which is a moving head fixture with a zoom range of, I believe, 18 to 55, which for a knockoff light is a great zoom range. I use these for front light if there isn't a lot of front light or even backlight. I have thought about using them for side light, but I don't really see a cause for a side light to move unless you're doing a more upbeat musical or if there is a lot of side lighting in the show. If you're just doing a straight play, you can get away with maybe a little bit less intelligent side lighting. The output on this wash fixture is actually pretty close to its professional competitor, which is the Rogue by Chauvet or the Focused Flex by ADJ. What I want to focus on next is what I like to use as a general wash light in a lower price range. Using the company ADJ is a great alternative for some of these higher end companies. ADJ makes a lot of DJ equipment that isn't as expensive as professional theater equipment, but you can still get away with these lighting rigs. One of my favorites is the Megapar by ADJ. Megapars have really grown in the past few years. They used to be not as advanced, but now they have grown to be one of the staples of budget lighting systems. I have really seen these in all different applications as front light, side light, back light, hair light, you name it, I've seen it. And for this light is really honestly pretty affordable at around $150 and maybe closer to $100 when Amazon has their deals. As a budget theater, you can really go crazy with these, using them in all different applications. Next, I really want to focus on the staples of theater and what you will see most often. As mentioned in previous episodes, one of the most common brands in theater specifically is ETC. ETC makes source 4s, PARs, you name it, they have it. One of the staples of ETC is their color source collection. Their color source collection is reimagining the conventional lighting into LED. So they take their conventional source 4 or their conventional PAR and they outfit it with LED systems, such as the color source 4 is now LED and color changeable. Another company that is a staple of theater is the High-End Systems. High-End Systems is a much more advanced and honestly much more expensive company that has been making lighting systems for years now. High-End Systems make very high-end intelligent lighting, and you can see these high-end systems in most high-budget theaters and in high-end performances such as concerts and ballets. Next, I would like to focus on what lights I like to use in each part of the 3 key lighting system. The first is front light, and what I like to use is source 4s and profile lighting fixtures. Profile lighting fixtures are really nice because they have a lot of control. You can really control what they do, and they have a high output for spots or just a general wash. ADJ, Chauvet, ETC, and high-end all have profile fixtures, and probably many more brands that I'm just forgetting about. Next, I like to focus on side lighting. Side lighting is very similar to front lighting, but you can get away with a little bit more. I tend to use source 4s, again, with a little bit wider angle so it can cover more of the stage. I use maybe not as many intelligent lighting, but you certainly can, such as the Shed's moving head, or even a Focus Flex by ADJ, or any other advanced lighting system that you can think of. I really like to have a color changing light, at least, so that way there can be a sense of a mood through color, or you can use a pattern or a gobo. Next is backlight. Backlight is an interesting one. Backlight, I like to use a lot of patterns and very wide fixtures. Now, this can vary from show to show, but I find that using wash fixtures can add a 3D element to a person, and they really pop out from the background. Next is hair light. Hair light, I like to use a lot of wash fixtures. I like to use very wide areas of light. I feel like the hardest one to light is hair light, only because you have the least amount of angle to light from above. It's the least amount of distance. It's a straight line up and down. So if I can get a wide enough angles, such as a cob light, which is a very wide angle light, you can light more of the stage with that light. So if I back up for a second, lights I like to use for backlight are the Focus 4Z by ADJ. These have something called a prism, where the light actually splits into 3, and you can get a much wider field of light on the stage, and they're great for using patterns and different special effects. You can use a zoom wash fixture also. I've used the Shed's moving headlight for it, which gives a great effect, especially if you add haze or fog to your production. Next, I like to use a wide fixture for hair light, such as a Fresnel, or if you can find, I know that ADJ has a cob light. Chauvet has a cob light. Almost everyone has a cob light. A cob light has like a 50 to 75 degree angle. So they're really, really wide, and you can cover a good amount of distance. Of course, depending on your ceiling height. Ceiling height can really have an effect on what lights you choose. You have a very high ceiling, or you hang your lights pretty high, you may want to narrow it down to more of a source 4 or a PAR. If you have a smaller distance to the ground from your catwalk or from where you hang your lights, you may want to use a more wider angle light, such as a cob by ADJ or by Chauvet, in order to get the most real estate for that light. to shine. And lastly, for special effects and for different effects, in most theaters you'll find something called a cyclorama. A cyclorama is a big white sheet that you put in the back of the stage, and you can put lights on it and it will make a nice backdrop for your stage. I like to use bar lights that you can find basically in any brand. They're probably 6 to a foot or 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever. And it's just a bar with some hardware, and it has many different lights on it. And you can shine those up or down on your cyclorama, and it will create a nice wash, an even wash on your cyc. The next is different effect lights, which I don't really have a preference. Like I said before, the Focus 4Z or any of these spot fixtures, such as the Focus 4Z, you can find in basically any brand, any price range. Really, what you're looking for is to match the output of the rest of your lights. So if you have, such as the Mega Hex Par, you may not want to buy a high-end systems light or a ETC light because you're going to outdo yourself on output. But if you have one of these and you buy a cheaper light, you may be disappointed that you can't really see the light if everything else is on. So I think that should suffice for right now as an introduction to the different lights that I prefer. You will obviously hear more lights in the future, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to message me. Make sure to share with all your friends, and I will see you on the next one.